Welcome guys to the next project in the project section. So today we are building a book app in which like we can get the book suggestions according to the user, and we are doing this with the help of APIs, and for which I have like Google API for which we are fetching the data of books. And without wasting time, let's jump into the project. So for this project, the API or the packages we have used is the Google fonts or Flutter launcher icon for giving the icon to the app, or Google fonts we have for like giving special fonts to the strings, or HTTP for getting the request from the API. So without wasting time, let's jump into the project. So firstly, let's create a void function which have the main function inside it, and inside which we can give the run app function. And for run app, we have to like give the next screen. So we can make our next screen. So for next screen, let's make it a stateful widget and or stateless widget. So let's make this a stateless widget and name it as my app. And we can import some of the libraries we will be using. So let's call this, and we can pass this name to our run app function. So whenever the our app will be open, the first thing app will be navigated to my app screen. So in the my app screen, let's replace container with the material app, and material app we can give some properties like debug checker, which can be false, and we can also give the home navigation, for which also we have to create another class which is the stateful widget. And for stateful widget, let's name it a book screen. And the same thing we can pass here. So this is our app, like the structure of app. We can use constant modifier everywhere. So this is the basic structure. So for next thing, we will be like needing some of the variables, in which variables and function which will be like we can use to store the data and show the data. So for the variables which we are using, firstly like we need a list to store for storing all the books data, and the list would be of type dynamic. And so let's define a list and a function for getting all the things from the API. So firstly like let's design a list to be of type dynamic, cause, and let's name this as books, cause this will be storing all the books of the books which we will be getting from the API. So this is our book, and after this, like we can make our function for getting the books. For function, let's make it a future function, because like getting the data from future, and the function will be of type void because it is returning void. And let's name it a function as fetch books, which will be a async function because it is a future function. And we can define a function here. So firstly let's make a variable of final type. Let's give it a response, and response with small r, and for which uh, we can use a wait keyword, because we will be like giving our API, and for using an API we can call HTTP package, and to send the get request for API we will be like using get function, and inside which we have to pass our API. So we can use URI pass, and here we have to define the API. So for the API, we can get it from the Google. So let's import HTTP2, or the thing we can do is like HTTP. Now error should be gone. So for the API, which I am using like is this. We can like also check it in the Postman, uh, the things which this API will be returning. So let's wait till Postman opens. So let's paste our API here and send get request. We have to remove this colons. So the data we are getting here from the API is inside the list items. This items list is containing many maps of different keys in the form of JSON. So from this data, the thing we need is like the title. So we will be like using the title and the author. And the next thing we will be like using is the image links, small image and thumbnail. So we have to design our function like that. So like we can access all these values. So firstly, let's give our API here. So we have provided the API, and after that, we have to write the if function uh, for error handling. We can give like if response we get has the status code of 200. Status code of 200 represent the success, and then if our API have some data, then like we want to store it. We can we want to store the data which we fetch inside a variable which is response body. So the data function stores all the things, all the data which response function is getting. Response function, response variable storing the details about the API, and the body of this API or the data from this API will be stored in a data function, data keyword. So we can import this library too. So we have stored all the data inside the data function. So now let's call the set state for like assigning the data to the list. So books will be containing data, and the thing we want from the data, like all or the body of the response, is like the items. So we have to like provide this thing here. We have to give it here like items. We can give items here, and the next thing we want to do is like if it is not successful, then like I can give a else function. So for else, states, let's call set state, and this book is books will be empty. So this is our function. Uh, we have to give this inside the bar, And this is our function like we have created. So uh, let's shift into the UI part, or the where we will be getting the data from the API. So for the API part, let's replace this container with the scaffold. Replace this container with the scaffold, and inside the scaffold, we can call a app bar, and we can assign define some properties of the app bar, which are like we will be like creating like a very simple UI, and just a text of book app demo, and after which that's it inside the app bar. After which, like, we can also give our body. So for body, uh, let's design. Firstly, let's design put all the things we will be including inside a column. Column has have children, and for which firstly let's give it a size box, call a size box, which will be of height 16, and after which I can call elevated button, for getting the function, or we can replace it by using the init state. So for now I'm using elevated button. If we want the data to become automatically, we can use a init state, but uh, for this project I am taking like elevated button. If we can also use a init state here and call the function inside the init state. So as we are using elevated button, so we can call our function on the button tab. So we called a function, and inside the function we can also get the child property of text. We can get fetch books, the same thing. Perfect. So we have created the elevated button and a size box. And the next thing we want to include is the screen, or the thing where all our data will be shown. So for that, let's call a list view builder. You can also make a grid view builder, as for keeping the UI as simple as we can. I'm using a list view. So for item builder, for item builder, so for item builder, uh, we can replace item builder with the context and index, and now we can give our things. The thing which is left is the item count. For item count, we have the list length, and item builder. Inside item builder, we can give or make some important variable too, for not repeating one thing again and again. We can store book, index. Perfect. So we have to like, so this stores all the index inside the book list. So and we can also give this here volume info, because volume info is the map which contains all the things which we needed, like image and data. So we have to give this here. And now the thing we want to return is, um, for now it's just a list style, um, of leading, uh, image dot. We can copy like not copy, we can say like image dot network. From network we want this book of book, we want image links as per the API, and we want a thumbnail. Let's give a thumbnail here. Actually I have not included a postman, so but I can also give you like a postman just to like show the data. So I think it is like not coming. I can like post a screenshot or the give you API, the description. So these are the things inside which like we have the data and which we want to include. So which we want image leading, and the next thing we want is the title. So for title we are using text of books, not books like book, and inside which we need a title. Sorry for not like be able to show the postman screen, but I don't know, I have some error. Or inside the title we also have subtitle. So for subtitle we are also going for this, but replacing subtitle with authors. So this is perfect, but the thing we also want to include a condition, because we have inside our author we have a list, so we only want to display the author name of the author name which is in the first index, or called we can like call the zero index. If it is null, then If it is not null, sorry, uh, author, uh, and if it is null, you can give a condition author not available. Perfect. So this is a thing. Now let's try to build our app and see the difference what we are getting. I think we have some build error. Uh, Title books not puts we have given extra space there. That's why it is able. So this is perfect. Now let's wait till our app is building. I think our app is Cortex. I think we also have to give here height away. Perfect. Again, we are like getting some error. Render layout it says. So for that, we have to like also like remove the expanded. Give it a 70 or change. Now let's try again. Um, let's rebuild our app. I think now our app is built. So uh, according to the UI, when we click on this fetch button, the data should come. So this is the data, and the thing we want to change is like inside the API. Here, like we can exchange this Flutter to Star Wars and see the difference. All the data is like book started with the Star Wars. So this is all, but we can also enhance some of the UI. Like you can give it 100 here and 140 here. So this is perfect. Or we can also change something like can give a Google font here. So for book title, comma, you can give a style here for which we want Google fonts of Poppins, and you can give design here. Firstly, like we can copy, or let's give the font size to of 16, and we can also give font weight. The blue 500. So perfect. Now we can copy this same style everywhere for consistency. This is of title now. So what if we give it here and changes this to bold? Nice. And the other thing we want to change is we can also give a style here, and think we can give a border color to this background color, sorry. So for background color, let's give it a, now let's try to build this, how data will be changing. So data here changed. Only thing we have to find API with the color black. We can give this black, and the next thing we can do is call the elevation as 0. So it appears to be like book API. Perfect. Can also change this to bold. Perfect. Give it as a 24. Now let's see. Perfect. And the only thing we are like getting is the fetch book function. Like fetch book. I'm saying like we can also call it inside the init state. So I think we should call this inside the init state. So for that, we have to init uh, uh, call the init function. So for init function, we can include the init function. Uh, till then, so we can like remove the things here. So init function is a type of function which appears to be like appears to the thing which to be work first whenever our app will be open. So for calling the function in init state, we have to like make the init function, and inside init function we have to push the app, or push the app, not app, push the that push this code. So let's do that. So let's try to do that. In it, inside in it, we can give a function we passed inside this. Okay. Now we can remove this separated button. Try to build our app. So now all the things are gone and our data is coming automatically. We have like exponentially increased this 60 or 80. The thing we can for like designing more, we can change this thing to a simple like container for like granting more access. We can also have not given false debug checker. Debug check mode banner will be false. So now our app is built and our uh, debug banner also comes. So this is the final app, and here will be like we are getting the value, getting the books according to the user. The thing which you have to do as an assignment is to like get the user choice. For that, you just have to make a text field where user enters all the things, all the book name which user want to read, and once the user clicks on it, the data will be sorted. And the way you will be doing is to like here if you change this value as anything or the data in the text field, then the data from the API will be sorted according or the filtered according to the keyword. So your assignment is to make that, and this is our final app, and I hope you liked it. So thank you for watching, and have a good day. Thank you.